And hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Gridiron Gabbin on NFLGridironGab.com and also on Seahawks Gab. We are joined today by Devon Heinen, one of our editors over at Seahawks Gab, talking about this week's big matchup as the Seahawks will take on the Indianapolis Colts. The game will be at the RCA Dome on Sunday afternoon. Devon, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Good to catch up with you again and talk a little bit about the Seahawks. We've had a couple of rough weeks. They are now 1-2. After the opening day shutout of the Rams, they've fallen 2 straight weeks, including the 49ers. And this past week at Chicago, actually there was a home game, though. They lost to Chicago in those hideous green jerseys. Let's start with the jerseys. What's up with the jerseys? How many times do we have to see green jerseys the rest of the year?
You know, I think that was a one-time shot. Actually, a lot of Seahawks fans are enjoying the jerseys. I found out about the jerseys over the summer from somebody who's in the organization, and I was told I had to keep hush about it. But I actually want to go out and buy a jersey myself.
Wow. All right. Well, maybe we'll see him again later on if the team has another couple of big wins. Let's talk about the Chicago game. Big letdown there. The team seemed to have everything under control, but Orlando Mari missed a couple of big field goals. And then, of course, the end of the game, Devin Hester gets loose. Talk to me about your impressions of that, of the big loss to the Bears this last week at home.
The loss is all about missed opportunities. You mentioned the 2 field goals. The one Mari missed in the third quarter killed a drive that was key for the Seahawks. On that drive were back-to-back face mask, 15-yard penalties against the Bears, and a key 24-yard reception by Nate Burleson. The Seahawks had to have converted on that and scored. They were down by 4, if I remember right, at the time. Had they converted and hit the field goal, they would have been right in it. And you know, Wallace had an INT. TJ Hushmanzada, the big play receiver that Seattle spent a lot of money bringing in over the offseason, only 4 catches, 35 yards, and a fumble. Missed opportunities were costly.
Talk about Hushmanzada for a minute. I know it's only 3 games, but what are your impressions of him in this offense? And has he been a little bit of a disappointment so far?
You know, he's only been a disappointment because of the injury to Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck in the first game looked at Hushmanzada a lot. Seneca Wallace did 2 in this past game. He had 9 targets to Hushmanzada, but only 4 of them were catches. He was brought in for red zone opportunities. In the preseason, he had 11 catches. 2 of them were touchdowns, and they both came in within 8 yards of the goal line. They're not getting him in opportunities to make plays that they brought him in for, and I think really that just has to do with Hasselbeck's injury.
Again, Devon Heinen, SeahawksGab.com, joining us here as we talk a little bit about the upcoming week for the Seahawks. Of course, Sunday they'll be in Indianapolis to take on the Colts. And first of all, let's update the status of Matt Hasselbeck. What do you know right now about his opportunity to play Sunday? And also, again, we've talked about injuries before, but certainly 7 guys, 7 starters out for this past Sunday's game against the Bears. How critical is that, and who do we expect to have back in the lineup this Sunday against the Colts?
All right, well, let's run down the laundry list, shall we? Lofa Tupu, starting the linebacker. Morris said he should be back this weekend. Hasselbeck and All-Pro left tackle Walter Jones should be working out this week. It's still unclear if they're going to play. Sean Locklear, who's normally the right tackle, who's played left tackle in place of Walter Jones, missed the game against the Bears. He'll probably miss another game. Marcus Trufant is obviously out until week 7. Left guard Rob Sims, he's strained an oblique muscle, and his availability for the Colts game is unknown. Ken Lucas, the starting cornerback opposite to Marcus Trufant normally, he injured a groin, but should be back this weekend. Really, the O-line is the main concern for Seattle in terms of injuries. They need to get Walter Jones back in a hurry.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's move on then to talk a little bit about this Indianapolis game on Sunday. A very, very critical matchup for the Seahawks. They do not want to fall to 1-3, even though it looks like nobody's going to want to run away, I should say, with this NFC West. You certainly don't want to fall behind a team like San Francisco or if Arizona can get back on track. They're on the bye this week. But talk to me about this game against Indianapolis. The Colts are red hot. They beat up the Cardinals big time on Sunday night and really dominated them from start to finish, 31-10. Taking advantage of turnovers in the red zone and whatnot. Talk to me a little bit about this Indianapolis game, and I mean, are the Seahawks really seem up against it here?
You know, this game is gonna be really, really scary for the Seahawks. Even with Hasselbeck back, if Hasselbeck can play, it's not gonna be really close. Peyton Manning is firing on all cylinders against the Colts, 359 yards and 4 TDs, or against the Cardinals rather. I mean, and the Cardinals, they're not the best defense in the world, but they made it to the Super Bowl last year a lot due in part to their defense. So I think Peyton Manning's just going to carve up this Seahawks defense, especially if some of the linebackers aren't going to be able to play at their normal full strength, and see how secondary handles it. Their offensive line, though, like I said, Seattle needs their offensive line back in a hurry because the Colts secondary linebacking core and their defensive line just wreaked havoc against Kurt Warner. They forced him into 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and just lots of key incompletions off of only 12 quarterback hurries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely was a great game for Indianapolis on both sides of the ball, but Toy Freeney did leave the game with a right leg injury. We'll update his status later on in the week. Finally, before we let you go, Devon, your prediction for the game on Sunday. Again, very difficult test for the Seahawks. You said you don't think it'll be close. What do you have for a final score?
24-10, Seattle falls to 1-3.
Wow, there you go. That again, Devon Heinen. Of course, he's our editor at SeahawksGab.com. Check out SeahawksGab.com all week long for updates on the game. And Devon, thank you so much for your time, and we will join you again down the road.
Thank you.